Josh, stop!
As you've probably figured out, the switches on the wall control the fan's on-off states. The number above the switches denote which fans they control, the max being 2 fans. If the number is lit up, that means that fan is currently on, and if the light's off, then, The goal here is to get from the side of the fans that were currently on all the way to the opposite side. This means that since fan number 1 is broken, we need to get fans 4, 5, and 6 turned off. The puzzle is finding out how to turn each fan on and off, since the switches have some rules to them. Hitting a switch with either both numbers lit or unlit won't do anything. A switch has to have one fan on and the other off in order for it to work. Hitting a switch in this way will swap the power from one fan to the other. Since each fan has 2 levers that control it, what we end up doing is pushing the power from fans 5 and 6 to fans 2 and 3. This is accomplished by swapping power from fan 5 to fan 4, then from fan 4 to fan 3, and from fan 3 to fan 2. After that, we'll take the power from fan 6 and move it to fan 5, then to fan 4, and finally to fan 3.
Need some help? You're bleeding bad.
Don't you touch me! I bleed out the sin, but it grows back, so I must let it out every day.
I can stop the bleeding.
I don't want your help. These wounds cannot heal.
Why did you come to this place?
I come here to remind myself. It's the only place I go where she listens to me.
Who listens? Scarlett? Is she here?
She's here with me now. My baby. My beautiful child. Daddy forgot to bring you a present today. She loves dollies.
Fine, you crazy fool. I was only trying to help.
You? You? You can't do anything.
Why did you come to this place?
I come here to remind myself. It's the only place I go where she listens to me.
Look, Doctor, stop talking like an idiot and start giving me straight answers. My brother is missing, the mayor's son is missing, and so is Scarlett. I want to know where they are.
I don't care about them or you. My princess is the only thing that matters now. Her little hands, pure as porcelain, her smile like sunshine.
I want to ask you about Scarlett. What's happened to her?
Don't you mention her name. You're not as worthy as one hair on her head. Scarlett's doll. Where did...
Daddy?
Dr. Finch, what's happening? What's going on? God.
Forgive me.
This wonderful little labyrinth is called Hell Descent, and it represents Dr. Fitch's and possibly Alex's descent into madness. Or lava. Or molten metal. Whatever. The big themes here are gears, grates, levers, fans, heat, and orange. Widely considered the best level of Homecoming, Hell Descent features a few good jump scares while maintaining an interesting art direction, some of which is borrowed from previous games. The exit signs posted above dead ends are a nice touch, illustrating both Fitch's inability to escape this personal hell, as well as Alex's. Of course, none of this makes sense without telling you that this is what fans of the series call the Otherworld, a twisted version of reality skewed to someone's, in this case Doc Fitch's, personal fears. Disclaimer, the following topic contains what I personally think Silent Hill 1 and 2's Otherworlds are. I am in no way presenting these theories as fact. Part of what makes Silent Hill a great series is that a lot of the game is left purposefully vague and asks you to come to your own conclusions. I highly recommend playing previous games before listening further. In Silent Hill 1, the Otherworld made its debut by relaying the nightmares of Alessa onto those stuck within it. Alessa was scared of nurses, bugs, hospitals, the list goes on, and all of it features prominently in Silent Hill 1's Otherworld. Silent Hill 2 had a slightly different version of the Otherworld. Whether this was due to the plot of the first game or merely an artistic change is unknown. In that game, James saw monsters that were based off his, not Alessa's, personal traumas, as did Angela and Eddie. They all had the ability to wander in on each other's nightmares and witness each other's fears manifested by the town. This is also why one of the monsters in Silent Hill 2, the Abstract Daddy, is a monster James can fight, despite the fact that it's clearly created from Angela's fears. Though there appears to be some rules to this, Pyramid Head, a monster specific to James's wish to punish himself for his sins, is a monster that appears only to James. Hell, Laura doesn't even see any monsters. This could all be linked back to whether the town has judged you guilty or not. If you're innocent, like Laura, the town doesn't persecute you. If you've been found guilty, like James, Silent Hill pokes your brain to see what would fuck with you the most, and manifests it for you to deal with. Because James had a wish to punish himself, the town responded with a creature meant to do just that. Perhaps Angela and Eddie didn't have this wish, which is why they didn't see the monster. It's possible James can fight abstract daddies because all the monsters he's fought up until that point were sexually perverse. Because the abstract daddy is covered with flesh, you're left with a monster that symbolizes sex, something James is very uncomfortably familiar with. Silent Hill 3, 4, 0, and Shattered Memories all have their own interpretation of what the Otherworld is and how it works, but Homecoming's developers didn't care about that stuff. They liked Silent Hill 2 and the film's take on it, so I'll just leave the other games alone for the sake of our sanity. The movie took a direction with the Otherworld similar to the first games. Altogether, it works the same as Silent Hill 1's Otherworld by projecting Alessa's fears onto the town. But there's also the fog world in this movie, the foggy reality, which existed somewhat in the games. It just wasn't so clearly defined as being a completely separate dimension as it is in the film. The film's Otherworld is clearly another plane of reality that serves as a mirror to the real world, just with more blood and grates. Also, shifts to the Otherworld dimension are denoted by peeling of walls and an air raid siren. If you think about it, the movie's Otherworld doesn't mesh well with Silent Hill 2's. There are clear separations of reality in the movie, where in Silent Hill 2, these distinctions are very hazy. For example, even though Laura has been found innocent by the town, it's not like James can't see her anymore. She's still a part of his dimension. It's just that she doesn't see the same things James does. The reason I'm talking about all this nonsense is because these are two clearly different takes on what the Otherworld is. Homecoming's developers didn't care much for these differences and tried to get the best from both worlds. We have in Hell Descent an area that is influenced by Doc Fitch's inner demons. It's because of this that Hell Descent is more like a level out of Silent Hill 2. But we have clear shifts to the Otherworld dimension, which are obviously taken from the film's idea of the Otherworld. This schizophrenic view of arguably the most important aspect of the Silent Hill series will provide us with endless confusion as we trod through the rest of Homecoming. So the crowbar is the first weapon we can neglect to pick up. All the others we were forced to get either because we couldn't progress without them, or they were shoved into our inventory by a cinematic. Acquiring the crowbar is entirely optional and can be easily missed in the maze that is Hell Descent. First thing you're probably asking yourself is, hey, isn't that the same inventory slot as the steel pipe? Yes it is. The crowbar functions as an upgrade to the pipe, overriding it entirely. From now on, we'll be using the crowbar to pry open gates and whatnot. The crowbar is also slightly stronger than the pipe, though just as slow. We'll be using it about as much as we use the pipe, that is to say, not much. This is Scarlett, the second boss of Homecoming, who apparently shares the same name as Doc Fitch's daughter. Clearly something happened to his daughter that Fitch didn't tell us, but I'm sure we'll learn about that in due time. Scarlett is an animated version of one of Scarlet Fitch's dolls, the likes of which we've seen before from the Ariels and Origins. Better yet, this entire boss fight is quite similar to the marionette boss from the Silent Hill arcade game. Both are dolls that crawl around on all fours and move around the ceiling. Alright, let's talk about the mechanics of this fight. Scarlett, like Sepulchre, is a two-phase fight. The first phase has Scarlett upright with her porcelain armor protecting her. In this phase, Scarlett is a bit slow, allowing us to use our stronger, slower weapons on her. Which is great because the porcelain armor makes her immune to our knife attacks. This phase of the fight is seemingly tailor-made for our new crowbar, which allows us to trade much-needed power with not as important speed. The idea here is to break off the armor on her legs, arms, and back, while avoiding her one swing swipe attack, two swing swipe attack, and blood eruption, which spews blood in an area around her front side. After she's taken significant damage to her legs, she'll drop to her knees and allow us to wail on her arms and back. She'll repeat this process until we've exposed enough of her creamy nougat center to allow us to rip off the armor on her back. Oh, by the way, the first phase can be made hilariously easy by a few well-placed shotgun shells. Something special to note is that the QuickTime event that separates the first and second phase of this fight is buggy as hell. If you hit the button too fast, you will simply fail the event and have to start over, which, I must stress, negates the entire fucking point of a QuickTime event. So anyway, once we break the porcelain on Scarlett's backside, the second phase of the fight begins. Scarlett will go into four-legged mode and become significantly faster than before. She'll move in and out of our melee range and perform jumping attacks that'll knock us down. Because of this newfound speed, we'll need to attack just as fast, if not faster, as she does. Good thing knocking all that porcelain off has made her vulnerable to our knife attacks. At the start of this phase, we should immediately equip the knife and go all-out offense. Scarlett is somewhat stunned by our attacks, and can therefore be easily locked down, making this phase a piece of cake. That is, until she jumps onto the ceiling. Once up there, she'll wander around for a few seconds before initiating a QuickTime event. If we stay locked on her, it's obvious when she's going to jump down. The lock-on will fail a few seconds before she attacks us. If we fail to dodge her attack, she'll land on us and initiate another QuickTime event. If we fail that... But if we're successful, we'll go right back to fighting her. Hell, if we're successful in the first dodge, Scarlett will become vulnerable. If we run up to her and initiate the event, we'll automatically equip our crowbar, or pipe if you didn't get the crowbar, and attempt to stab her rapidly beating heart. Doing this 3 times will end the fight. One more little tidbit about Scarlett. In Silent Hill 3, Heather talks about some dolls that she used to take to bed with her, one of which just happens to be named Scarlett.